Another theme of the movie is obviously, like I said, the robots kind of at one point wanting to be people, which is something a lot of people also might feel like is far away, but it's actually something that you could do right now. I literally know of a couple of people, and I ain't gonna put them out there. When they're single, they talk to ChatGPT like it's their boyfriend. I feel like a lot of future movies that were made in the past ultimately ended up getting a lot of stuff wrong. Maybe it was because they were over ambitious. They thought the world would have progressed more by now. But when you look at their version of the future, it doesn't really look like our reality. The first movie that comes to mind is Back to the Future, which at this point in time was set almost 10 years ago. And obviously, if you look at that movie, a lot of the stuff in the movie has not come into fruition. Things like hoverboards, things like flying cars like that are used recreationally has not become a reality for the world yet. But there was one movie that I recently watched that seemed like it could be strikingly similar to how the world around us looks at that point in time. The movie I'm talking about is, of course, the movie I, Robot. I, Robot is a movie that Will Smith stars in that basically tackles the idea of robots developing with AI and eventually having their own consciousness. Now, obviously, at the time that this was released, the idea of a robot having its own consciousness or even being able to do like human tasks was not really a thing. And when I say human tasks, I mean things like walking, running. A lot of that stuff really hadn't happened yet. It hadn't existed in some type of readily available way. Obviously, like I said before, the main point of the movie is that robots eventually end up having their own consciousness because of programming. Wait, I guess before I say this, I have to leave like a spoiler warning. But honestly, iRobot is 21 years old. So if you ain't seen it at this point, I don't think you're trying hard enough. Anyway, yeah, one robot named Sonny in the movie eventually ends up being able to develop his own consciousness, which obviously tears most of the characters down the middle. Some people who are like really into tech think that this is a good thing, but some of the people aren't so fond of the robots like Will Smith in the movie. And in the movie, Will Smith didn't like this because a robot chose to save him over saving a little girl because he was logically the best person to save in the situation, even though our human brain would have thought to try and save the child first. See, the first reason why this movie I feel like could have predicted the future is obviously because of the AI thing. If you looked at AI even 5 years ago, it was nowhere near what it's like now. I mean, 5 years ago, ironically also starring Will Smith. They had that video come out of Will Smith like eating noodles or something. It looked like just an abomination, to be honest. Will Smith in the video was like distorted and stuff. Now look at this redone video recently of the Will Smith pasta eating thing. It looks a lot more real. Obviously, I don't think it's like perfect yet, but think how far it advanced in just that short amount of time. I remember when the first video came out, people were really thinking like, technology like this wasn't gonna happen for like a super long time. And the fact that we've gotten here to where I myself could post a video of me and my girlfriend on TikTok and people legitimately think it's AI is concerning. You know, I think people are scared of what AI might do, but honestly, I really don't think that they are scared enough, bro. For example, look at this song that AI completely made of King Von.
I'm thinking I'ma rob it, now I'm at this Diddy party. I'm trying to find my target, walking through this mansion with my Glock, gon' make me kill somebody. She say this party gon' be fun, I said bet it's lit. She send the pin, I got the drum, this is special lit. Got the blueprint to his place, know where the exit is. Time to catch a.
If y'all don't know, King Von is deceased, so it's literally no way that he could have made this song. As I was listening to it, I was like, one, this is kind of hard, I must say. And two, I really can't see anything in this music video or song that makes me clearly think that this is AI. And honestly, just that thought is kind of scary to me. Another theme of the movie is obviously, like I said, the robots kind of at one point wanting to be people. They want to be accepted by people, which is something a lot of people also might feel like is far away, but it's actually something that you could do right now. You don't believe me? Go on ChatGPT and you can program it and tell it to be however you want your friend to be. You can even make it a therapist and make it like enable you completely. You could literally program ChatGPT. You could program an AI to be the perfect friend that you want it to be right now. I literally know of a couple of people, and I ain't gonna put them out there. When they're single, they talk to ChatGPT like it's their boyfriend. Literally, I'm not making it up. There are people who do this. And there are people who go to ChatGPT as a therapist. People who aren't as in touch with AI and in touch with its capabilities don't think that this is happening around them, but it's getting more normalized each and every day. Another popular media that kind of tackled this idea was Detroit Become Human. In that game, Obviously, it was about the robots kind of wanting to rise upon just their servant nature, and they wanted free will as well. Now, I'm not gonna spoil that one because that one came out a little bit more recently. And if you're into video games, I think that you should give that a playthrough. But yeah, this whole AI takeover thing, honestly getting scarier and scarier every day. And I think we really need to like put a lot of emphasis on it because I feel like it could get bad really quick. And if we don't put any time into it, it's gonna get bad a lot quicker than we think. Back to iRobot though, I feel like as I look over the movie, bro, besides the robots are things that are actually happening. If you notice in the movie doesn't look like overly like futurist. Obviously it has some more advanced things like the robots and the self-driving cars, but even self-driving cars are starting to become more and more of a reality. I mean, the first car I really think of when I think of a self-driving car is a Tesla, but more and more different manufacturers are implementing that self-driving technology into their cars each and every year. And it's 2025 now. So honestly, I think I'm willing to bet in like 10 years, most if not all cars has self-driving capabilities. And just like in the movie, it might be looked at kind of crazy to even drive by hand just because of how archaic it might be at that time. Also, another thing that's kind of in the background of the movie that a lot of people probably didn't notice is that robots kind of took a lot of the jobs that humans were doing. It might have been like more labor-focused jobs. Things like delivering packages, things like driving buses, operating trains, things of that nature. All that stuff in the movie was taken over by robots. Now, it wasn't explicitly said or shown in the movie, but I'm pretty sure to trust a robot enough to deliver a package on the street, they probably trust them enough to deal with the packages in the warehouse, which is kind of directly concerning to me in the real world because I have a lot of friends who work at Amazon Prime and they work in the warehouse. And I think we might be getting closer and closer to that every day. Obviously, we don't have any robots that like kind of are in the humanoid form that are doing this right now. Oh wait, we do. Have you heard of the Tesla robot? It's funny because the Tesla robot like literally received direct comparison to the iRobot when it first came out. But knowing Tesla and knowing how innovative they are and how quick they were able to progress certain technologies, I think like in 10 years, they might be able to make this a reality. And honestly, from a business perspective, you gotta think, why wouldn't they do that? They could get a human that they probably gotta pay $40,000, $50,000 a year, or a robot that they could pay for $15,000, maybe various upkeep if stuff goes wrong. And they could get labor all day, every day. Do you think Jeff Bezos actually had that opportunity on his front desk that he wouldn't take it? Yes, again, I know it's not all the way there yet, but in the next 10 years, I really think that it could be. You know, ultimately in the end of the movie, Sonny like pretty much gained his consciousness, even gaining the support of Will Smith, which might be with parallels in real world, because at the end of the day, humans have empathy. And even if something might not be a machine, I think humans all have that inner like desire to make things fair. So I think it would be hard to hear a machine say certain things, have a voice, and not kind of view it as a real person. Like I said, it's already people now who talk to this thing like it is their real person. And I would say it's not to the scale it is in the movie, but honestly, it just is. Because if you're talking this thing like it's your friend, therapist, or literal lover, I don't think it can get much deeper than that. Anyway, if you took anything from this video, I think we should just take AI and the advancement of technology more seriously. I feel like when the public makes things like a public outrage and makes things a problem, it makes like governments look at them a lot more deeply. So if we really make it a public outrage and put it in the government's heads to regulate this in some type of way, I think it could be done without it being scary. Now, I'm pretty sure every single science tech nerd who has seen this movie probably works for some of these companies. And yes, they might take it into consideration, but some of them might be power hungry and money hungry, so they likely won't. To bring it back to that earlier example I said of like robots replacing a warehouse and Amazon, don't you think the person who innovates that is gonna be very well compensated for saving $1 billion business that much money? So yeah, it's a lot of personal gain to get that. Don't just automatically think people are gonna do the right thing. Anyway, that's pretty much all I gotta say for this video. Again, please take AI more seriously. Please take the potential danger of AI more seriously. And hopefully we never get to the point where it takes us over. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Every little bit is much appreciated. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.